All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, sisters of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm here again, once again, answering a lot of the questions that I get in the email box. And I can understand the reason why these questions continue to keep coming, because a lot of people are just developing the ears to hear. They're actually paying attention to what I'm saying, and it's sinking down in their heads, in their thoughts. They're starting to think a little bit. I mean, they're really truly starting to exercise independent thinking, a little bit of self-autonomy, which we need in the time that we're living in, because we all live our lives in some form or some fashion after a passive mindset, which we definitely need to get out of. If we go back centuries ago, when you had the nobles and the peasants, things still have not changed one bit today. The only thing that is different is that we're looking at what we call modern day conveniences, or what we call society. And it gives us an illusion. It's like today we live here in America and we have an illusion of freedom. We're not free, but we have an illusion of freedom. And as long as you have your handlers continue to keep telling you that you're free, you're going to continue thinking that you're free, while you're taxed in everything you do to make sure that the crown receives their money in order to function, and they continue to keep trickling down subsidiaries to you, all of us, the peasants, the small people. Because if you really truly look at it, look, the affluent, they are still functioning in this world. Those who have means, those who have a lot of money, their children go to the best schools. They don't have the same access. There's not equality all the way across the board. They get the best education. They don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans that their children have to pay once they graduate what they call higher learning. They don't have all that. And then they're placed into the jobs that pay all the money that all of us peasants never had the opportunity to receive or get. And it's set up that way. You just have to open up your eyes and see. And so as we go on in life, you start to see that it makes no difference whether people are on a social, a political, a economic, or a religious system. It makes no difference. People get an understanding of how this thing works, and they develop their lives that way, and they use you to maximize their profits. All the while they're so-called giving you something back, just a little taste of it. And that's what we're involved in. That's the type of society that we're involved in. So, I did not come from an affluent family. The only thing that even gives me any right of passage whatsoever is being a son of the Most High. And I'm content with that. I'm content to have my dominion, my kingdomship, and my rulership, whatever the providence the Most High deems necessary for me, after the breath goes out of my body. Most people would never understand what I'm saying. And hey, I understand how much of a shock it is to the mindset. I think that everybody has a right to life, liberty, and to pursue happiness, but you can't be pursuing happiness when you have no idea what's going on, when they have set the whole system up from the word go to be against you from the very beginning. And so I said all that hopefully to try to stimulate thought. And that's what I want to do. I want to try to continue to stimulate thought. I want you people to listen to me very closely. I know that a lot of you out there are after the Christian persuasion. And I'm not against you. I'm really, truly, I'm not against you whatsoever at all. All I'm trying to do is stimulate your thought pattern to get you to think, to pick up your Bible, to open it up to read it. Because whether we all like it or not, it makes no difference if you choose or pick and choose to be a Christian, to worship a tree, a skunk, or a dog, or an owl, or a moon. It makes no difference. You breathe, you live, you exist. You have a right to pick and choose, to worship, to live your life the way that you want to live it, as long as you don't infringe upon the rights of others. Everybody has space. You have that right. I may not agree with your right, but I'm not going to attack you because I don't agree with the way you believe. It's just that there's no way that if you're going to worship the moon, that you and I can actually have sweet fellowship and sit down and have conversations and actually enjoy life together because we live after a different set of principles. We have different understandings. We have a different set of values, and there's no way that we can actually walk together. And I'm sure you understand that. So let's just intelligently, objectively disagree with each other and then go ahead and go on. Now, however, if you're in the faith, there ain't no such thing as we agree to disagree. That's cardinal. That's cardinal. That comes from the world perspective and stuff. So we need to understand something, that this religion, and I want you to listen to me. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Just check it out and see if it's so. This religion called Christianity didn't come until the 4th century. Well, I'm talking about like 300 years, 400 years after the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ. And today it has become the most accepted form of religion and worship simply because they use the name Jesus. And, you know, like me, my ancestors were brought over here to America on slave ships. Deuteronomy 28:68. And we discontinued from our heritage, Jeremiah 17:4. And so therefore, you know, we have had this perspective and this religion after many, many generations that have went on and died off, crammed down our throats. And so now the Roman Catholic Church has influenced the Church of England, the whole entire world, to believe what it says that the truth and religion is. Well, I had an opportunity to learn how to read and write. And when I had an opportunity to learn how to read and write, I used self-autonomy. Yes, I did. I thought independently. And I started reading. I go, now, wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Things are not the way that they presented to us. So I started reading the Bible because that's the first place I myself personally chose to start. That's the first place I chose to start. And I found out that the picture that is painted in front of us, that we all are influenced by on a daily basis, is not so. As a matter of fact, it's a matrix. And of course, I've tested, proven, and tried. I've had successes. I've had failures. So I understand what it means to succeed. I understand what it means to fail. I'm very familiar with both sides of the spectrum, or up, down, vertical, horizontal, makes no difference, whatever you call it. I've tested, proven, and tried, and now I understand. I'm a recipient of the power of the Messiah that came. And I do everything in my power to make sure I walk circumspectly and not as a fool, that I walk in obedience to their scriptures on a daily basis. I have trials, I have temptations just like anybody else does, but I'm a child of the King. Now listen to me very closely. When you read that book, you'll find out that the Most High only chose one family out of all the families on the face of planet Earth, and it's not the family the way that the system has crammed down our throats to believe. It's not these Khazari and Ashkenazis that are sitting over there in this land, transplant. Instead of calling it Israel, you should, or the land of Israel, you should call it the New Khazaria, because that's exactly what it is. But his people have been displaced, and the seed has been spread into every single nation on the face of this planet Earth because of conquest and consolidation. And we need to understand this. So when you hear me come on here speaking against the religion of Christianity, I am not speaking against Jesus Christ, the Messiah. I'm not speaking against him. I'm speaking against the religion that is deceived. I was greatly deceived by it. It did not affect my relationship with him. It's the aspect of religions and worship, the things you do, the things you don't do. So when I started reading that book, I found out that there's been another gospel that has been preached to us. And once I found out that this other gospel has been preached to us, I've been shouting it from the rooftop. I've been shouting it from the very heights of heaven for those who got the ears to hear. Everybody's not going to hear. So, you know, and people choose to walk in unbelief. They choose not to do nothing. But there's one thing about it. Whether you choose to believe or not believe, all of us are going to die one day. And all of us are going to have to meet the maker. And if you choose not to believe that there's a maker, I do. But since I choose to believe that there is a maker, and I choose to follow his principles, and I have to do a lot of studying because there's a lot of man's hands on a lot of things. And so I do a lot of research, a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting just to get to the bottom line of it. But I am, you know, if I'm a believer and I'm following this Bible and I am the way that it says, and I'm an Israelite, I preach, I'm a Hebrew and I am an Israelite. That's what I teach. I teach the same thing that Jesus was, Paul was, all the prophets, all the apostles, all the disciples, the people that came out of Mizraim or Egypt. They were all Hebrews and they were all Israelites. That is what I preach and that is what I teach. And I tell you what, if I'm wrong, I have nothing to worry about. I just was able to live a nice, quiet, peaceable life. Thank the Father for it. However, are you following me? But if I'm right, all of you people who chose to walk in unbelief and chose to stay in that pagan religion called Christianity and be deceived because it's nothing but the principles passed down from the Roman Catholic Church, I want all you people to do something. I want you to try to go look up something called a papal bull. Look up something called a papal bull. And go get an understanding, and you'll see the reason why we have this mindset and condition the way we are today. But I will tell you this. If I'm right and you're wrong, then you're going to have hell to pay. I pray that you heard what I said and that the Most High give you understanding. You have a very successful and peaceful day. The King is coming.